What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be going over the best wizard Hydra build for season 28. It's going to be actually one of the best starter builds, and that is because it's got a massive buff for season 28. We're getting double the damage with the 6-piece bonus of the Typhon's Veil set. Now on top of that, it is also going to be part of the Hydra's gift, meaning it's going to be the easiest set to obtain. But I will go ahead and mention that if you're looking to push the highest in terms of GRs, you're probably going to transition into Tal Rashas, which we will also have a guide for very soon on the channel. But starting right off on season 28, almost every single wizard will be playing the Hydra because it got a massive buff and it is, again, the Hydra's gift. So let's go over how the build works in terms of like what you're going to be needing for pieces of gear, as well as what you're looking for on the build. So starting right off, let's go over the skills and how it plays. So with our first skill, we got magic weapon. We're going to be running deflection, so we have more shields. That's going to give us survivability, so we can keep up our Squirt's necklace. Next up, we have Hydra. We're going to be activating this as our main source of damage. Now, there's another thing here where we have Blizzard that technically adds more damage, but it doesn't deal damage itself. We're actually going to be running a legendary item called Winter Flurry, which gives us extra bonus on the secondary legendary power, making it so Hydras will deal more damage on enemies that are inside of Blizzard. So we're going to be running Apocalypse because it covers more area. It's also a fire skill, so we're going to be able to actually get more bonus damage with elemental exposure. Next up with Storm Armor, we're going to be running a lot of different things as far as rune goes. You can run Power of the Storm, you can run Scramble, you can run Shocking Aspect. It's kind of up to you on what you want to run over here, but you need to run Storm Armor for your Hail of Karini for damage reduction. So just keep up Storm Armor and keep up your magic weapon. It's not that hard to keep him up at all. And then we want Spectral Blade, Barrier Blade, or you can run Electrocute, which you guys will see in a moment. I'm going to swap up the build, but it's kind of up to you on what signature spell you want to use. This is going to be activating our Arcane Dynamo, giving us extra damage when we build up stacks. And on top of that, Fragment of Destiny will give more damage for Hydra when you build up these extra bonus stacks. So we have to pick some sort of like generator, so to speak, to actually deal bonus damage. And then for our last skill, Teleport, you can run Calamity, you can run Wormhole. There's a lot of things that you can run if you want to, but yeah, we're going to be running this just for extra mobility. Now, as far as the passives go, Galvanizing Ward is an absolute must. It gives us extra shields, and it's really good for survivability. Arcane Dynamo, just for damage, as well as Elemental Exposure. These just give damage. Now, the last one, you can run Audacity or Power Hungry. If you want to be further away or closer, pick the build that suits you, is what I say with these passives. As far as like the last one over here, again, Power Hungry, Audacity are going to be kind of the go-tos for most players. If you want to run Zystone of Vengeance, which is another thing that I've seen some people do, then yeah, obviously you would then swap over to Power Hungry, so you do more damage when enemies are further away versus closer, but it's up to you on that one. As far as what's inside the cube, we want Fragment of Destiny. We're going to run Tasker and Theo, as well as Royal Ring of Grandeur. If you roll a really bad Royal Ring of Grandeur or a Hail of Karini, swap them in and out. Convention of Elements relatively consistent as far as like the things like crit chance and crit damage on the item, so you're probably going to be wanting to equip that one. Now, as far as the itemization on the build, so what you're going to be wanting is Serpent Sparker. This is going to give you extra Hydra, and it's going to be able to deal increased damage. Most people will be crafting primals. If you guys haven't seen how to craft a primal, I'll try to pin the video down below in all the videos, but it's basically pretty easy. You throw it in, you basically disenchant primals, and you can craft a primal this season, but you can only equip one primal in season 28 that is a crafted primal. But yeah, it's pretty easy. You probably want to craft the weapon or the offhand. These are the hardest things to roll in the entire build. So yeah, Serpent Sparker, that just gives us more damage, as well as extra Hydra. And then Winter Flurry gives us that bonus damage from the enemies that Hydra is hitting while inside Blizzard. And then we're going to be running the 5 pieces of the Typhon's Veil. There's not something that's super important to mention with this build, other than at the very start, you'll see on my Hydra over here where I have bound to E, I'm going to make sure that it's at about 10 during most of the duration. So as soon as you enter the rift or the area, spam on Hydra so you just have those heads, and that's going to give you increased damage. Right now, I'm recording this pre-season 28, so it'll be ready to go when the season's up. But you can see with the 6-piece bonus, it's supposed to do a 4,000% increased damage for each Hydra head, but yeah, that hasn't been updated at the moment of this video, but that's the 6-piece bonus, so more damage for more Hydra heads. The 4-piece bonus, that's going to give you extra damage reduction. Just activate Hydra. It's nothing that you need to maintain. And then with the 2-piece set bonus, it's fine. You just get to double the duration of the Hydras. Nothing that you have to maintain, nothing too special with this build in terms of maintaining any sort of like resource here. You don't even need cooldown reduction with this build, which is a little bit different. So as far as the gems go, we're going to be running, like every single Diablo build, an Emerald over here in the weapon. then we can run topazes or we can run rubies. It's kind of mix and match. If you want more damage, go for the topaz. If you want more survivability, you can go for rubies or emeralds. Now, as far as the helm goes, usually you'd run a diamond for cooldown reduction, but in this case, we don't really have anything that needs cooldown reduction, with the exception of teleport. So, because of that, you don't need to maintain anything, so we're going to be running a amethyst inside the helm, but choose what you want to. The helm is also the magistrate. This one you got to equip, and that's going to make it so Hydras will now periodically cast Frost Nova and deal increased damage. So you can see right now we're swapping up the build to Electrocute, and it's up to you what you really want to run. It doesn't really matter too much. It's just so we can activate Arcane Dynamo and Fragment of Destiny. We have to run something that generates resource for more damage, but you'll see the gameplay here in a second where it's different. As far as the pieces of gear goes, though, 6 pieces of the Typhons, but it's technically 5 with the Royal Ring of Grandeur and the Magistrate in the helmet. And then as far as the bracers go, we're going to be running the Guardian, so Guardian's Belt, as well as the Guardian's bracers here. And we want to get cold damage because we're going to be running the cold rune on Hydra. We're running Frost Hydra over here, so that's going to be our main source of our damage. So we want elemental damage if we can. Roll off the main stat as an intelligence and get cold damage on your Scorch Necklace because that's what we're going to be running. The 5 pieces that we're going to be running is going to be the chest piece, the shoulders, the gloves, the boots, and the pants, and then we want the Guardian's Belt as well as the Guardian's Bracers. For the rings, we want Halo of Carini, we want the Convention of Elements, and then our Royal Ring Grandeur. If you roll really bad ones, sure, swap these in and out. Halo of Carini sometimes doesn't really roll well for the secondary bonus of the damage reduction that you get, so if you want to cube it earlier on, you get a bad one, hey, be my guest. For the Legendary Gems, we're running Bane of the Trap, which is in every single Diablo build. Now, we are also running Enforcer here, and that is going to be because the pets are going to be the source of the damage. The Hydras count as pets, so we're going to want Enforcer. And then you can run Bane of the Stricken or Zaystone of Vengeance over here for the last legendary gem. Now, another thing that's important to mention is it's basically like every Diablo build, but no cooldown reduction. So what we're looking for is basically the generic crit hit chance, crit hit damage is what we're looking for on most pieces of gear, as well as main stat. The only thing that's important to mention that would be different than a normal Diablo build is that instead of getting bonus damage on the helmet as well as the boots, Hydra actually rolls on the shoulder pieces as well as the chest piece. So be on the lookout for those 2 stats on those 2 areas, but the rest, crit chance, crit damage. If you get any like elemental bonus damage, which would be in the amulet as well as in the bracers, we're looking for cold. This also is going to be one of the more difficult things to roll, which is the Winter Flurry. So if you're wondering what is the best item to actually craft with the primal, I would probably say Winter Flurry is going to be the one that most people craft because it's so hard to get every single one of these to match up to be as perfect as possible. So your best bet is probably to craft your Winter Flurry because getting that increased Hydra damage, the perfect cold damage, it's just going to be the most difficult. So this is going to be something that a lot of people won't end up getting like a perfect one. They'll eventually probably swap into tiles, which again, eventually pin down below because this thing is just a nightmare to roll. It's just like if you play Demon Hunter, you know, rolling the quiver to be perfect is not easy. So early on, most people will just probably craft a Serpent Spark and then run a whatever ancient one in that slot. But that's going to pretty much wrap it up for the build in terms of what we're running. Again, swap the primary skill if you want to. Most people like Spectral Blade, Barrier Blades, but this one is a melee skill, whereas the Chain Lightning or Electrocute is going to be a little bit more range. So that's kind of up to you on which playstyle that you want, and if you want to run Audacity or Power Hungry, that's up to you. But that's going to go and wrap it up for the build. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and do want to see more Diablo videos in the future, subscribe, turn that bell, and check the pinned comment. There's going to be a lot more Diablo videos down below. But take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!